50th annual Around the Island Road this year. We had 27 crews. We had to postpone it for a few days due to the hurricane, but we were fortunate enough that of the 27 crews, 12 beach patrols were represented. We had a father-son crew. We had 2 female crews. We had 2 brothers that rode together, and we also had an uncle and a nephew rode together. And again, some of the elite athletes in South Jersey participated.
The fans follow you around from point to point, yelling. The beautiful boats, the new hulls this year, the colors, boats were faster. It was amazing. The history of the race, man. How can you think about the history of the Around the Island Row? You have to think about Moxie Bilkins and Bick Murphy. You have to think about Funk and Miller. Just some of the all-time great rowers. In this race, have won this race and competed in this race. It was an honor to have a chance to compete against those guys back in the day. The sponsors who support the race, it's a community event. The whole community rallies around the Island Row. They have 30, 36 boats, sometimes up to 50 boats, rowing 16 to 18 miles through the inlet, through the back bay. Again, the fans following the race around at all the points. They start at the rocks in Anglesey, go down to the dock at near Dad's, back to the railroad station in West Wildwood, where you get yelled at for getting on property sometimes. But it's all part of the magic of the race. There was a time not that long ago where I felt that lifeguard boat racing was phasing out and actually dying. And Chris Dems took control of Van Dyne Boat Works and started making beautiful boats. And then we had sponsors step up and sponsor boats and actually get new boats for the beach patrols, beautiful racers with beautiful hulls. And people don't understand the connection that lifeguarding has with lifeguard boat racing. You're not quite an accomplished lifeguard until you've done what it takes to be necessary to complete the Around the Island Row. The training time that you must invest in the water and in the boat with your partner throughout the spring and summer season in order to be able to do that race is some of the best time that you can spend. The best investment you can make in yourself and your partner, in your health, in your fitness, and in a shared common goal of completing the Around the Island Row and being competitive.
So I've been fortunate enough to become friends with Joe Stampone through good friends of mine that are alumni on the Beach Patrol, Steve Zamulinski and Brett Pedersen. Great athletes in their own right. And in my conversations and getting to know Joe throughout the years, I know that he's not just a great business person and a trusted attorney, but also he has what it takes as an athlete. I mean, I don't know if Joe would even want me saying this, but I know through my friends that he was inducted into the LaSalle Hall of Fame for baseball. So Joe knows what it takes to compete at a really high level and to succeed at a really high level in athletics. And I think he brought his personality and his competitive edge to his profession. I mean, Joe comes from Philadelphia, and he worked very hard to achieve the success that he has today. His father was a blue-collar worker, and I have the greatest respect for Joe because of the life that he's made for himself and his family. He relates to people that compete. Not just the person that's finishing first, but anyone that's working hard just to achieve their goal. And maybe it's just finishing a Steve Del Monte triathlon, or just finishing the Around the Island Row. Or getting first. We all have our challenges and our battles out there, and so we all have different levels of success when we're entering this race. And I think that Joe, he brings that, like I said, that tenacity that is required to do really well in athletic events, into the work that he does personally, and that's why he's had such success. But he also gives back, and he's not just making donations to beach patrols. He's involved. I mean, he was out, cheering the boats on during the Around the Island Row. He was out there for 3 hours this year. He literally goes around and hands out T-shirts with his son prior to lifeguard races, and he sponsors them. But he's not sending employees out to do those types of things. He's doing it himself, and he's getting to know people. He's a good guy. He's a nice guy. He's down to earth, and he gives back. And he gives back to causes that he believes in. And he believes in, I really think at the heart of it too is, maybe he looks back on his younger years too, and maybe there was a coach or a teacher or a parent, of course, involved in his life that, that planted that seed of competitiveness and character in him. And he wants to promote that too, and he wants people to have a similar experience. And what a better place to do it than right here on the Wildwood Crest beaches and the South Jersey beaches. And he's seen that in his own sons-in-law and his own sons and daughters who were competitors as well. So what I say about Joe sometimes is he just gets it, and we appreciate that so much.
But sponsors like Stampone Law are invested in South Jersey lifeguard racing. They sponsor the Hoffmans, they help with boats, they sponsor the boat in Wildwood Crest, and the connection that they have to the community, to the lifeguarding world, has been invaluable in keeping boat racing alive and keeping lifeguard racing going. It's getting more and more coverage. It's on TV, it's on YouTube, and people are interested in those outcomes. And we understand that racing in the boats and lifeguard racing in general makes the lifeguards better lifeguards. If they excel in those skills, in moving the boat, in rowing the boat and the paddleboard and running and swimming, it makes them better lifeguards, which makes the beach a lot safer. The Stampone family have been great supporters of the local lifeguarding community. Joe and Dan have been great partners in our community service and competition endeavors. Their support has been unwavering, inspirational, and a tremendous boost to our efforts to provide a great event for the local public safety community. They're here literally on the beach during our race, giving out T-shirts, shaking hands, watching the race, cheering for the competitors. It's just wonderful to have that kind of community support here in Wildwood.
It's funny because with some different friends of mine that have done the Around the Island Row, when my own personal life and their lives, when we're having conversations about a difficult time in their life or something, I'll refer back to the Around the Island Row, and I'll say, this is the point in your life right now where you're turning the rock pile, and as we all know, that's a really challenging part of the race. And I'll follow it by saying, take just one stroke at a time. I own the prize, take one stroke at a time. And I think by going through these hard challenges like that, you can relate it to your personal life, and you can think back on rowing around that rock pile where you feel like you're going to die, where you feel like you could give up, but you don't. You bear down and you work harder, and you think and process the situation more, that so you can execute the stroke to the best of your ability and get through that challenging time, cross the finish line, hug your partner and look back on it and be proud of it. And there's so much growth there that I think is important to apply to your personal life. And if you don't put yourself in these types of positions, then you don't have that to draw from in those challenging personal life situations or professional life situations. So I encourage everyone to take on the most difficult challenges, and in my opinion, the Around the Island is the most difficult challenge that lifeguards can get involved in.
Yeah, you'll never hear anybody say that either they're in first place or they're in last place on the island say it was an easy time. No one has a good time running around the island. Looking back, it's awesome, but while you're in it, it's grueling. So from first place to last place, it is a tough challenge.
I agree with you. I hope younger people get more involved with rowing these great boats, and I think, by people like Joe Stampone donating boats to beach patrols, that encourages and reinvigorates the sport. I would say to anyone that would like to get into boats, talk to the right people, get the right training, go out on the right days when it's the appropriate conditions to learn, and get involved, because in my opinion there's nothing harder on the beach patrol than the boats. So why not take on the most challenging activity that you can out there and have some fun doing it. Take on big challenges to make big strides in your life that you can apply to other aspects of your life. Well, throughout the race, you know, you're getting tired, and you think your partner may be getting tired, and you share little things to try to motivate them. And at one point we were passing the Ventnor crew, which is an excellent crew, and I think they've won 3 times now, and they're always up there. And I think they were just, they went really hard, and I think it just didn't work out for them that day. But as we were moving on them, I just mentioned to my nephew that, we're passing a 3-time champion right now, and the point of that was to motivate him and to let him know that we were moving the boat well and to continue to work hard, which I know he's always doing already anyway. But when I told him that, he looked over to me and said, well, I have a 7-time champion in the boat as well, which, right there in the middle of the race, wow.
2 hours into it, when they got past those Cape May rocks, that was a grind to make it back to 15th Street. With the current and the winds were very difficult for these rowers. That's why they're elite athletes who do all that training.
So this boat that we have right here is lifeguard boat number 225. It was donated to us by Joe Stampone, and he's been a big proponent of lifeguard races in South Jersey, as well as the Steve Del Monte races. And he was generous enough to donate this boat to the Beach Patrol. It's the number 225 with the American flag charging in the battle, and he wanted it to be named the Lady Justice. I just think it's a great name for a race boat, an appropriate name as well, because you just hope that the best crew always comes out on top. And we're grateful to Joe Stampone for not only donating the boat, but continuing to support lifeguard racing throughout South Jersey.
I just want to thank Joe Stampone and his family and his law firm for supporting the Beach Patrol, and his generosity is overwhelming. He's a stakeholder in our community now. He has 2 former members of our Beach Patrol in his family, which is a strong connection to our family. So I think the relationship and what Joe has been able to do, and this boat is just one example of all the things that he's been able to do for us and for the rest of the island too. So Joe, I'm glad you're a member of our community, and keep doing what you're doing, and we're always here to help whatever you need from us, all right?
We just concluded our 50th annual Around the Island Row. Congratulations to our winners from the Wildwood Beach Patrol, John Livingstone and Pat Clemens. In 2nd place, the Longport Beach Patrol. 3rd place was Stone Harbor. 4th place, Wildwood Crest Beach Patrol. And in 5th place, the Cape May Beach Patrol. Thank you to all 27 crews, and we hope to see everybody again next year.
And I'm proud to be part of, even the crew that's out there that's filming this, Drone One Aerial Technology, that does an amazing job, with people like Dan Howie and Pete Stampone involved in that process as well. I'm proud to rodeo around the island with my nephew, my parents' oldest grandchild, and I was proud of the way that he executed at the race. And at times when I was getting tired, I knew I couldn't give up. How could I ever give up on my nephew, And looking back and listening to your video, the raw footage that you have of it, I hear my sister's voice now cheering from the sides, which she always did, but this time I'm in the boat with her son, and she's cheering for him. So it's just, they talk about the people in your corner, the people that succeed, that have that work ethic, but they have the people in their corner, and like you said, Steve, it's family.